Guten Morgen, my friends. How's we doing to this morning? I, of course, as told you yesterday, I am here in my home because I have 2 doctor's appointments today. So the usual suspects, as we like to call them. One of these days, I'm gonna play around these controls and find out just what this stuff does. Okay, hang on. Shift screen layout, press. Or I could do that. Or I could do that. Or I could do that. We'll keep solo for now. All right. One of these days, I got to figure out everything that this thing does for StreamYard because YouTube, once again, I was going to try to give them, a reprieve. And, sure enough, I go to hit live and for some reason it's not accessing my mic. And I have to keep resetting my microphone settings here for StreamYard now, too, because, yep, it's over. Call it done. Actually, no, all right, apologies to everybody, but that's my clickbait tag for the day. It seems to be that, that's the latest thing. You've got Tard Kotick, and the Drunkard, and a bunch of other armchair experts who have already declared the show over and have been declaring the show over for years. And the funniest part is, I can guarantee you, if and whenever they do finally decide to put Doctor on hiatus, they're all going to be high-fiving each other, punching the air. Matter of fact, they may not even wear, blindfolds to that weekend circle jerk because they'll be so excited. And then they'll call themselves the Grand High Prophet Seers. Wokeness killed the show, even though, remember, the show was supposed to have died 8 years ago. Remember? I'm surprised that their little heads haven't exploded. Because, remember what happened last time, as I said before, a blonde-haired woman, popped up at the end of her generation sequence. Women might be able to think they can vote or get out of the kitchen or something. At least that was what was running through their heads. That's one of the things I am glad about is that, that whole Poppy and Susan thing. As much as I do embrace changes to the overall canon of the show, some of the changes they made here were just plain destructive. For one, I'm tired of I may not have met my own wife yet. Dude, you dropped your granddaughter off at the beginning of this damn series how many decades ago? I'm sorry, unless, and Time Lords are now sterile and he's trying to push looms on people. And I'm like, the whole loom thing the loom thing was a fan fiction. The loom thing was out of Lung Barrel. But at the same time, it does kind of make sense. Do you want to know how Time Lords did the nasty if they could, Come here, honey. I want to project my rod of Rassilon into your black holes. Call me Omega. Call me Omega. I'm your Rassilon. Call me Rassilon. Call me Rassilon. I'm not kidding. Do I really want to know how Time Lords did the nasty? I'm assuming like humans once did, but now they're supposedly now cloning each other in vats or whatever, like looms or. But as I said before, the whole loom thing came out of a novel a long time ago. I believe it was called Lung Barrel, and I've never gotten around to reading it. People have sent me digital copies of it and all that, and I'm like, I always lose the file. I think I lost the last one during this last computer move a few years ago. So, But yeah, according to them, yeah, the show's over. Abysmally low ratings. By the way, guys, the abysmally low ratings, despite the fact I did not like the finale at all. It was the second most watched program for Saturday, 18th most watched program of the week. And when you realize that the program that beat it out for most watched of Saturday was Britain's Got Talent, that's not unusual. It's a reality show. And sadly, reality shows are never going away. They're cheaper to produce. They're easier to produce. And one of the things I always ask people, because they're always like, oh, but it's so enlightening. I go, really? I want you to go down. I want you to sit down. And this is going to take some time and effort. Go back and watch videos of shows like Britain's Got Talent, America's Got Talent, and write down the names of all the people who scored like 3 yeses or whatever, or 4, whatever they do. And then try to find them in the end of that series, live show. It's funny how many of them, get the big, nomination or whatever, and then they disappear. You never see them again. Did you enjoy your Sherlock Holmes escape room? I'm sorry, but they locked us in a round room and told us we had to escape through the corner. And we had to deduce where the corner was in a round room. I think we're looking at either a short hiatus or a long hiatus. It depends. You see, it's kind of like Star Trek. Star Trek's, they make it sound like their viewing figures are out the ass, but for the longest time there were actually talks of canning dysentery a long time ago, Starship Dysentery. But like I said, other than that, you won't hear me harp on the show because I don't watch it. I had no interest in it. I don't watch it. Hulu's about to be fully owned by Disney. Watch it being fully integrated. I can believe that. Disney's buying everything these days. As a matter of fact, I was halfway shocked that I didn't go in there. I would sit down on my toilet the other morning and find a Disney logo on it. Ha ha ha! Pooping me, you bastard! Oh God! Disney owns your shit. Oh. Matter of fact, that's another thing. If these guys get their way, you'll probably have to, have a little thing to measure how much shit you put out, and you get taxed for it. Oh, well. And of course, as America is, at least I don't live in California. Oh. Hang on a second. 6 outdated drivers. Why are you telling me about this now, you jack off? That's what I hate about some of these programs. I'll be shocked if the Max deal hangs on after this. Come on, Pluto. We got to get Miss Belinda Chandra home because of the fact we completely forgot she has a kid. Yeah, I came up with Duck Frost. You can't claim copyright on that. Duck Frost is mine, damn it. I can't do that. Oh well. Yeah, I know the nardy and the drunkard, and it's like they're being treated like they're like royalty. I mean, why do these guys get? I don't get it. We had a bunch of guys who slagged the show off. Now they're getting cameo appearances. They're getting TARDIS set visits. And then we got these guys like, and they think they're like, now they're getting invited on Piers Morgan and other programs for doing what? Talking like assholes? Like, ugh. And of course, I'm a jealous old bastard because I've been doing this for years. I've been watching the show since 82, 83. I don't expect any reward, but it would have been nice if I could have actually been on a TARDIS set once in my life, but I doubt it's going to happen because A, I don't have a passport. I don't have the papers. B, I got a billion medical conditions, it feels like every day. And also, I think it is, like I said earlier in one video, it's the art of the schmooze. What's the best way to get rid of an enemy? Make them your friend. In this case, I agree with Tharis. Doctor Who definitely jumped the shark. They, I love how RTD is trying to reword everything to make it sound like this whole thing was an experiment by the Rani. It wasn't an experiment. It was a power grab, which is something the Rani never does, has never done, nor would ever do. But I'm so brilliant. It must be true. I like that. And I love the fact, I brought back Omega, not one speaking line because he's this insane, freaked out, demented ghoul. Like I said, it looked like a reject from a Spirit of Halloween display. Oh. Like I said, I'm jealous of the bastard. I'll never get to visit the set. I'll never get to visit the way you call it. The only way I'll get to meet doctors is by paying money. Well, that rumor was started by fans, the Peter Davison thing. There was never anything legit about that. The people were trying to, they're hoping that because of what happened in Arc of Infinity, they were going to capitalize on that. But here's the thing. Does Poppy have Time Lord DNA? Because remember, that whole thing didn't happen, but it did because now Belinda's got a kid named Poppy all of a sudden that nobody knew or gave a shit about. But, like I said, it just upsets me that we're going to be, Shooty ended on such a down note. Oh, man. He got to fight two major villains we've been waiting decades for them to bring back, and they effed up both of them. All right, well, sorry, three if you include the Rani. Forgot about that. Brought back Sutek, they brought back the Rani, they brought back Omega, and they screwed all three of them up. Beyond any form of reparation. There's no way of saving it. And that's another thing. Why did the Doctor think there are no TARDISes left? Didn't he just create one for his little buddy, his side, bi-generated buddy? Who just happens to be another David Tennant clone running around the universe. And also, the Master had a TARDIS. Hello. The Doctor flew a TARDIS back from Gallifrey. Hello. Remember that 113 just left sitting there? Disguised as a tree? You see, it just it's obvious that this guy is just doing no research at all anymore. He's just vomiting up stuff onto paper and calling it a script. It's just sad too because, well, the one part of the Rani does, the rest got eaten by Omega. Yeah, Clara's Diner. Well, that's one thing. At least, neither one of, RTD's companions in this new run wound up becoming immortal super beings. Mrs. Flood, like I said, Mrs. Flood was completely not the Rani. Oh, and I love Anita Dobson. Don't get me wrong; it was amusing, but there was literally no buildup. There were no real clues. Oh, here I am. I'm just, coming in saying it, throwing the occasional, fourth wall breaker. And then, oh, look, I'm the Ronnie now and I'm bi-generating. Bi-generation, like I said, that's one thing that should have never been thrown out there. It was just idiotic. It's called RTD didn't want to kill Tenet again. It's that simple. I brought back Tenet, but I don't want to wipe his doctor again. So, we're going to create yet another, incarnation of Tenet to run around the universe. But yeah, it is. It's the fandom's a disaster. The Ronnie wound up a disaster. Omega wound up a disaster. Sutek wound up a disaster. And yeah, he didn't want to let him go. He didn't want to go. I don't know if Susan ever had a high Gallifreyan name, to be honest with you. Yeah, and like I said, the Mavity joke died a long time ago, but they kept bringing it back like a zombie. For zombie chuckles. I don't know. Oh, well, folks, like I said, I'm not going to stay on here too much longer because, as I said, I got doctor's appointments this morning. I have not eaten my breakfast yet, which is weird because by now, I would be in the parking lot and I've had something small to eat, but I just haven't made something yet. So, all I can say is this, folks, we don't, until we get a decision, but like I said, I don't see it going positive. Yeah, until we get a decision either way, the show's not over. But from what I last heard, there's been no recommission. There's been no recommission, then there's been no decommission. So, and of course, Nardi, the drunkard, and all them have already declared that Disney pulled out a long time ago. Shooty was fired and blah, blah, blah. In other words, it's more like this, guys. This is what you're doing. Ugh. Ah, well. So, no, we haven't got a definitive answer yet. This is my clickbait title of the day. It's over. All I need is the weeping, the bad weeping Shooty thumbnail that these guys have been reusing and using for the last God knows how many months, and my day will be complete. Hell, Mark, I don't know what you're saying. He just screwed up the vervoids. Be glad he didn't bring back the vervoids. Sure, their heads look like clitorises, but oh well. Well, I'm going to get out of here and make myself a little breakfast, and then I got to go to the first doctor's appointment a couple hours. So take care, everyone. Oh, look, Baldus is being struck. No, be kind, be calm, be safe. We'll catch you all tomorrow morning in the parking lot. Until then, please take care. There's been no definitive word getting on anything yet. It's over is just my clickbait title for the day. So take care, everyone, and enjoy the rest of your day.